All right, now in the last two videos, we were looking at parallel lines and transversals. But one question is not answered. What if they are not congruent? What if our angles are not congruent? How exactly do we handle that? Well, let's take a look at three problems here. In our first problem here, we notice we have A here and B here. But neither one, these do not satisfy the corresponding angle relationship because they are not in the same position in different intersections. We see that these are also not vertical angles because they definitely do not sit across from each other. They're actually sitting side by side, sharing a side. They're not alternate interior because, for starters, these both are exterior angles. And being neither alternate exterior angles because they may be exterior angles, but they're definitely not across each other on the outside of the parallel lines. So what exactly are we dealing with here? Well, since the two share a side, let's take a look at the makeup of these two angles then. Here is angle A, and then here is angle B. And notice that we put these two angles together without our transversal. What we get is a straight line. And if you remember, a straight line is also a straight angle. So a straight line is also a straight angle. And a straight angle, if you remember, measures 180 degrees. All right? So a straight angle measures 180 degrees. So that means if I put A with B, I get 180. So if I add angle A plus angle B, the two will sum to 180 degrees. So when we have two or more angles that sum to 180 degrees, this is what we call supplementary angles. So basically, have two or more angles whose sum is 180 degrees. So, in the case where we have parallel lines intersected by a transversal, when the angles are not congruent, they will create supplementary angles where we have two or more of our angles whose sum is 180 degrees. All right, let's take a look at a couple problems where this may happen. Here, you have the 80 degree angle, and then we have the 110 degree angle. Remember, when we solve problems involving transversals, we first need to determine what type of relationship is this. First, the 80 degree angle, this is an interior angle. And the 110 degree angle, this is an exterior angle. But if you notice, in both intersections, neither one are in the same position, so they don't satisfy corresponding angles. And this being the interior angle, it definitely doesn't sit across on the inside from 110, and neither does 110 sit across from the A on the outside, meaning that one's interior and the other's exterior. So what relationship is this? If we follow some of the relationships that we already know, we take a look at the 80 degree angle. If we alternate it, that means it will go here. And so this angle here will also be 80 degrees. And this 80 degree angle is also vertical with this angle here. And so that means all three of these angles are equal. Now, once it's here, the 80 degree angle shares a side with the 110 degree angle. And so, if we put the two together and imagine our transversal wasn't here, we would see that we get a straight angle, which means the two angles together sum to 180 degrees. So this must be a supplementary pair. So, which means angle A is equal to, well, plus 110 will be equal to 180 degrees. All right. So we take our 80 degree angle plus 110 degree angle. That'll be equal to 180 degrees. And now we solve our equation for A. So I would begin by subtracting 110 on both sides of the equal sign using inverse operations. So I got 80 degrees here, 110s would cancel, and 180 minus 110 gives me 70 degrees. So our 80 degree angle must be 70 degrees. And we go back and add 70 plus 110, we do get a sum of 180 degrees, which proves our answer true. So A is equal to angle A is equal to 70 degrees. All right, now let's take a look at the next problem here. Here we have a set of parallel lines, and this is our transversal. And we notice B and the 115 degree angle. This is on the outside and this was inside. But they do have something in common. They both share a side. And so if you take a look at what these two make, when we put them together, that's our opening of B, and we put that together with the opening of 115 degree, we notice that without the rest of this line, we get a straight line, a straight angle, which means B and 115 will sum to 180 degrees. So here again, we have a supplementary pair. So now that means our B degree angle plus 115 degree angle will sum to 180 degrees. And now what's left for us is to solve for our B degree angle. So we're going to begin by subtracting 115 on both sides, 115 degrees on both sides. And 115 will cancel. 180 minus 115 will give me 65 degrees. So the B degree angle must be 65 degrees. And you go back and add 65 plus 115, we do get a sum of 180 degrees. So in the case of when we do not have congruent angles, when the parallel line cut, when a transversal cut parallel lines, then we have supplementary pairs that are created. Angles whose sum is 180 degrees.